We want to take a deeper look at the remittances slowdown and its impact on Mexico and the United States. And for that, we turn to Rodolfo de la Garza. He is a professor at Columbia University and writes about Mexican immigration issues. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So we just heard in that report that remittances to Mexico are down by 16% last year. How significant an impact is that having on the Mexican economy?
Well, it depends on how you define the economy. Remittances go to families for familial consumption. They don't generate development in the common sense that we use the term. They don't get invested in buildings. They don't buy new companies. They don't create jobs. They reduce familial costs, thereby reducing poverty. What it does then is enable the state to effectively put out less money for the poor, because the poor are making their money off of remittances.
So there's people who have been affected by the slowdown of remittances. What is the Mexican government then doing to help those people who have been affected?
It's really hard to know. They don't have much money to begin with, and they have a tax system that doesn't redistribute funds anywhere near the level that one would expect. So they have some programs for poverty reduction, but not as much as a country as large as Mexico should have.
Has Mexico been able to, over the last couple of years, generate jobs at all? Has it been able to create jobs?
No, this is the other part of that. It is said that when the U.S. gets a cold, Mexico gets pneumonia. So the U.S. has a slowdown, Mexico just shakes to the worst possible condition. You combine that with what I would expect would be a reduction in tourist dollars, especially along the border because of drug violence, and then the fact that the one major resource that Mexico has, which is oil, they refuse to think about privatizing any element to generate money and renew the oil industry. So they're suffering on all fronts.
And what impact is the returning home of Mexican immigrants having on the U.S. economy? I mean, if these people who are, let's say, for example, without jobs and they're going back home and they're not likely to return because it's much harder once you leave the United States to come back, what is it doing to the U.S. economy?
Well, given the job level that we have in the U.S., I don't think right now you're feeling much of a problem. You are having a problem in the agricultural area, but that's as much because people leave, probably more because of the enforcement regulations that we're pushing harder on. You've got to be legal. Employers are getting harassed now, appropriately, if they hire undocumented. So its impact on the U.S. economy is less. These people would have money here that they would spend. By not having money, by going home, you reduce the amount of money that the Mexicans would normally spend in the United States.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.